The Beach Boys here on 103.9 WSOS. Gina Thorne is with us, and she is part of the professional team at, of course, Lakeview Health, which is a drug and alcohol rehabilitation residential community located here in Northeast Florida. They help a lot of people right here in St. Johns County and St. Augustine who are coping and dealing with drug addiction and alcohol addiction, correct?
We do, and one of the things that we really want people to understand at this time of year is that we had Thanksgiving last week, which I'm sure as many people love looking forward to the holidays and getting together with family, there's oftentimes things that will creep up with families that may secretly not go out publicly, and so there is some anxiety in many cases during the holidays when you've got family coming into town. The individual who might be struggling with Percocet or opiate addiction, or the one that's the alcoholic, that, you know, the Uncle Bob that comes in and creates chaos and anarchy, and people just kind of dismiss it as that's just Uncle Bob.
Man, everybody's got an Uncle Bob.
Everyone has an Uncle Bob. So what we want people to understand at this time of year is that it's important that they don't wait for treatment. A lot of folks say, well, I'll just wait till after the first of the year. That'll be my New Year's resolution. But really, the resolution needs to happen now, because we really believe in giving the gift of recovery now, not just for yourself, but for your family and friends.
And Gina Thorne from Lakeview Health, I would think, too, this is a time when we see family members and maybe we can get a better assessment of, you know, we suspected they may have had a problem. Now we know they have a problem. We feel even more confident that they have a problem because maybe things have worsened since Easter or whenever the last time was that we saw them. What do we do? I mean, because I think that's a lot of the folks who are out there listening right now that are people who care about folks who are dealing with drug and alcohol addiction issues. And to be honest, we don't know what to do.
And sometimes that's because there's not a full amount of education that's present for folks, and so they're not really sure what to do. So getting educated is probably the very best thing that you can do. And we have great information on our website, lakeviewhealth.com. We've got a terrific intervention guide that will give you a step-by-step overview of what is addiction, what are the signs and symptoms, what are the things you need to look for. Because as you mentioned, Kevin, a lot of people will say, well, my loved one, he only drinks on the weekends, or he's only acting up on the weekends. During the week, he's got it together. He's going to his job. He's making sure the kids are getting picked up from soccer practice. And so he doesn't have a problem. Mm-hmm. But when the weekends come, it just kind of falls apart. That really is a sign of a problem. And if it's not pervasive at that point, it will soon be pervasive. So making sure that you get educated about this disease and understanding that waiting is not an option will be a great first step, because when you're unaware of what to do, oftentimes people just become immobilized. They just, what is it, paralysis by analysis, where they just kind of analyze the situation to the point where they just don't know what to do. So our recommendation is visit us at lakeviewhealth.com. Spend some time talking with our staff. We've got 24/7 staff that are available. If you're not ready to make a phone call, you can click on our live chat on our website and talk to someone remotely, and they'll be happy to answer your questions, just so that you can kind of feel out, whether or not this is a serious enough problem. Remember, the addiction is a continuum. It's not something that it's all or nothing. So you might have a family member who may not have substance use disorder that's significant enough where it's compromising their ability to do their job day to day. However, they might be in the early stages of their disease, and getting that early intervention in quickly, where they're seeing a specialist or doing something with outpatient, might be the best first step for them. So we certainly recommend that. Talk to our intake staff right now, and hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions.
Gina Thorne is with us live here in the studios in St. Augustine from Lakeview Health. You can learn more by going to the website lakeviewhealth.com. That's lakeviewhealth.com. And, of course, they can also call, right?
Yes.
And that number is 866-316-5113, right?
That's right. Thank you so much, Kevin. We really
problem.
hope people will use this time today to make that phone call, because it is a gift, and not just a gift for yourself, but a gift for your family and friends.
We'll put all that information up, too, on our Facebook page at WSOS Radio. We'll be right back.
Lazy heart, greet those silver waves. Pet dog will remember you.
To be a lot of drinking being done, or there's going to be a lot of different types of activities that may compromise your recovery, then really set a plan in place early on of what you're going to be doing with yourself, because that plan is really going to make or break whether or not it's going to impact your early recovery. It's also important that people need to evaluate each situation. So one situation, like going to your friend's house for a dinner party where they may not be doing as much socializing using alcohol, might be very different than someone inviting you over to their office party where you know there's going to be a lot of alcohol. So it's really important that you identify each situation and really categorize them as what they call low, medium, or high risk. And if it's a high risk situation, you're really going to have to set up a really solid plan that's going to help you. Bringing the party with you. So if you know there's going to be a lot of drinking at this particular party, take along food or a safe drink that you can enjoy. Something that's non-alcoholic, something that you can sip on throughout the party that's not going to compromise your recovery. So
but something that satisfies you, it could be like some sort of
could be
flavorful
lemonade,
drink that
absolutely.
you like.
Yeah, and don't go with the non-alcoholic drinks because when they say that they're non-alcoholic, there truly is alcohol in them.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
Even
absolutely.
the non-alcoholic beer?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Actually, people
I
have
learned
known
something
to.
new today.
Yeah. And honestly, those are, even if they taste like beer, that's a trigger. And so stay away from those things. You sounded disappointed.
No, I just...
You're like, oh.
It's like nothing is as advertised.
Well, that's marketing.
I know. You would think I would appreciate that, right?
Right. But we do feel very strongly about not taking anything that's going to give the appearance of alcohol or may trigger you. So looking for those triggers is going to be really important. And we'll talk a little later on more about some of these other tips that will help you during the holiday season. What's important for people who are listening today right now is that if you or someone you know is struggling with this disease and they need help, give us a call at 866-316-5113. We've got trained staff available right now to take your call, answer your questions, find out whether or not you or your loved one needs inpatient residential treatment at Lakeview, or if you need outpatient treatment. We can do that assessment. We've been doing this for a very long time. We've got amazing staff. Our team is very passionate about the work that they do. They know that recovery is possible, and we're the solution. A lot of our folks that come into our program are feeling broken and hopeless, and they're shame-based, and they really feel like there's no opportunity for success, and we actually are the solution. So check us out online at lakeviewhealth.com or give us a call at 866-316-5113.
The great Patsy Cline here on 103.9 WSOS, playing the greatest songs of all time, and that would certainly be one of them. Gina Thorne is with us here live in the studio from Lakeview Health, a residential drug and alcohol, really recovery community, if you will, in our part of the world. So many people from St. Johns County and St. Augustine have benefited, have graduated from the programs there, both for men and women. And they've gone on to lead, what would be, quote, normal lives, right? Whatever that means.
It's true. No, absolutely. And it's great because even today you could be working and hanging out with friends that are in recovery that you may not even know that are in recovery.
Yeah.
And what we're so excited about at Lakeview is that those folks that come into our program who think that there's no hope and no opportunity for a new life walk out of our facility feeling empowered and feeling like there's another chance at life. And so I feel like we're kind of miracle workers in many ways, which is really kind of the coolest job ever, is to be able to watch people come out feeling like there's opportunity and they're feeling healed. And
and I guess too, so many of us feel like, and maybe it's television or what have you, that there just isn't any recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. And that goes to your point, which is, we probably are, each and every one of us, working with someone, going to school with someone, being even, on the golf course with someone who has probably, may have gone through recovery or gone through a particular, like Lakeview Health, a place like Lakeview Health. But we wouldn't know because, a lot of people, for a lot of reasons, don't broadcast it.
They don't. And they're very protective in some cases of their anonymity. They don't want people to know that there's still that very pervasive issue of stigma that's out there where you talk about how you see it on the news, you watch it on reality shows, you hear it on, social media or read it on social media about all of these awful catastrophe things that happen with this disease. And so a lot of people aren't going to want to align themselves with that. We need more positive stories is what we need. We need to be able to really get people to talk more openly about their recovery. There's a great movie that came out a couple of years ago called Anonymous People that had this guy, Greg Williams, who spent his time interviewing high-profile people like the Kennedys and others about why they've chosen to come out publicly about their recovery and why it's so important that we do that. Very similarly to the HIV movement, where we needed to be able to make a stand and create some opportunity for change, we have to do the same thing around this disease. And while we respect the 12-step and the traditions, and we know anonymity is important, we also know that there's a lot of people that are vocal in public about their recovery, because if we're not talking the good story, people are only going to hear the bad stuff, and it's going to make it more difficult for people to access treatment. So we really do encourage people to talk openly about their sobriety. It's a risk, we know, but we also know that those opportunities of sharing their strength, hope, and experience with others could help people get into treatment. It might help somebody go, you know what, I didn't even realize that this person who is a politician or is a lawyer or who is a school teacher is in recovery, and they seem so put together. How's that possible? If they can do it, I can do it. Yeah. And that's really what we want people to understand, is that Lakeview can be the solution. We are an inpatient program. We kind of consider ourselves to be an incubator, really. So if you're living in this place of chaos on a day-to-day basis where you can't seem to get things right, the minute you get out of bed, your mind immediately goes to all the things that you did wrong the day before. We can help you get back on track. We can create good coping skills and help you make great decisions and good decisions that are going to help you live a life of sobriety where you're in healthy relationships with folks, that you've got a job that you love, that you're working a great program and engaged with your children and with your community and giving back. Recovery is awesome. Recovery is just like this. It's this amazing opportunity at a second chance at life. And I just feel very fortunate that I can work side by side with people in recovery every day, because I learn something from them all the time.
Absolutely. Well, I think that is the key point. I guess the point I was trying to make was that we are surrounded by success stories here in St. Johns County. And so don't always believe the sort of the negative, the easy feeling of, well, there's no way out. That once someone is, captured by drug and alcohol addiction, that's it.
Right.
Just go ahead and put a period at the end of that sentence. Odds are they're never going to get better, because that is just not the case.
It's not. And unfortunately, I feel like there's a lot of people that think it's a dead end.
Yeah.
And we need to help people understand that recovery is a day-to-day. It's a journey. It's not a either or scenario. And so our goal is to help people understand that. And we want other people to spread the word around that. So if you're listening today and you're looking for help, even if you've got a lot of question marks and you're not sure whether or not you have a problem, give us a call at 866-316-5113. Our intake staff are in recovery. They take calls all the time, talking to family members, grandparents, parents, young adults, sometimes even children that will call in asking for help because they just don't know what to do. We have the trained staff available right now to answer your calls. We also have a great opportunity. If you're not ready to make that phone call, you can visit us online at lakeviewhealth.com, or you can click on that live chat button on our website. We also have a pretty amazing social media page too, Kevin, which a lot of people are really engaged with social. So we invite you to visit us at Lakeview Health on Facebook. You can get a chance to interact with our staff. You can see some of the great programming that we do. I have to give a shout out to our social media person, Lexi, who spends a lot of time posting this great stuff up on our website so that folks can feel more engaged with our community. But you'll see that we're a very strong community of people in recovery. And if that doesn't sell your story, I don't know what will. So give us a call, 866-316-5113.
There you go. Always check out the website too, lakeviewhealth.com. We'll be right back with Gina Thorne from Lakeview Health. Dr. John, and he was in the right place at the wrong time, or the wrong time in the right place. Sometimes
I find myself like that every week, every other week. I'm kind of like, how did I get here?
Do you find yourself in the right place at the wrong time? I always feel that way when it's Sunday afternoon and I'm at Publix. I'm in the right place. I need eggs. I'm absolutely here at the wrong time.
Yeah, you're right. That's not the best time to be there.
I figured out a couple of things as it relates to Publix. Number one, if you can somehow get there at 7:05 in the morning,
7:05.
That's a great time to be there. Number one, they fresh brew coffee for everybody, and it's just made. The place is immaculate, and every shelf is totally full.
That's because their night crew spent the entire time pulling everything to the front.
Exactly.
And so if they come out blurry-eyed and they're like,
that's their problem. But for me, it's great. And then you walk in there and the bakery's going, so you can smell things.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and you got it all to yourself.
Yes.
So
until 7:10, and then everybody shows up.
Then everybody else figures it out.
That's right.
So that's not
7:05, not 7:04.
7:05.
Okay.
The other thing I've learned too is if you have to endure Costco up in Jacksonville,
don't go there.
Go on Friday night at 7:40. Now you're only going to get 40 minutes to shop. But it's not going to be the incredibly unpleasant experience that it would be any other time that you would go.
Right. Well, and is there anything even there at 7:40 that you could actually...
That's a negative. You're right.
Yeah.
A little picked over.
Okay. gosh.
By then, you can't get the 10 pounds of macaroni and cheese pre-made for $2.99.
Which begs the question: why are you shopping at Costco for large bulk items?
I know, since it's just my wife and I.
You seem to be doing a lot of shopping at grocery stores. I don't know if there's something to that.
Stores.
We all are in recovery from something, Kevin.
Yeah, that's fine.
So maybe that's it.
Speaking of our topic of the day, Gina Thorne is here from Lakeview Health, right here in Northeast Florida, where they help so many people from St. Johns County and St. Augustine who have dealt with drug and alcohol addiction issues. They are a community of people that, of course, are currently there, but also so many people who have successfully graduated, who are living amongst us right now, who have done well. And, of course, so many of them also made it through the holidays.
Yes, and we were talking earlier about what we can do to help people get through the holidays, because it is going to be a pretty difficult time for some folks, especially those that are just coming out of treatment. We talked earlier about how important it is that you set up a plan for yourself when you're going into the holidays and deciding what parties you're going to go to, which ones you're not going to go to, making sure you evaluate the situation as to whether or not it's a low, medium, or high risk, and how you're going to create that plan around those levels. Making sure that when you are invited to a party and you know you have to go because Aunt Sue will never talk to you again if you don't show up for her party, that you bring food or something safe to drink. Also, know what your triggers are. There's a saying that we use. It's an acronym called HALT. When you feel hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired are typically triggers. And so we really want you to ward those things off and making sure that you don't forget to eat. It's real important because low blood sugar can leave you anxious and irritable. And if that happens, then people may become more impulsive with certain things. So making sure you eat a nutritious meal or a snack every 3 hours, and especially if you're getting ready to go to an event where there might be drinking there. We all know that holidays typically mean stress, especially if you're doing the last minute holiday shopping and you're in the checkout line at Publix at the wrong time or something. Mm-hmm. It's important that you really learn how to keep your stress under control. And there's lots of great ways to do that. I know a lot of our folks that are in recovery have learned how to do things like mindfulness and meditation. Deep breathing works really well as well, or making a phone call to a friend, especially if you're standing in a situation that feels very chaotic and it feels out of control. Having that special person on speed dial that you can call and talk to because you're having a moment is not a bad idea. We also encourage people to figure out ways to distract themselves. It takes about 30 seconds or so to get through an initial craving or a trigger. And so counting to 30 is really a good idea. Walking away from a situation is a really good idea. Looking at ways to try and distract yourself is really important. And then the last few is to make sure you rehearse responses that you can use when you go to these parties. If people are like, oh, come on, what's one drink going to mean? It's just one drink. Making sure you let people know ahead of time that you're just not doing that. That's not part of your new lifestyle. And not be ashamed of that. Being open about that and letting people know that you're turning over a new leaf now. Not waiting until the new year, but you're doing it now is not a bad idea. And then learn to move past your cravings. The reality is that people think, what is it, the word that they use, one drink is not enough, two is too many. And so we really want people to understand that cravings are a big deal, and we all know that they can be highly responsible for relapse. And so understanding what those cravings are and learning how to distract yourself and move through those cravings. And finally, the big thing, which we talked about a couple minutes ago, is leaning on a support system. If you are going to these events and you know that there's going to be family there that might trigger you, or if you know there's going to be drinking there that your coworkers are going to want you to use, that you identify someone that you trust enough that you can lean on for support, whether they're going to be available by phone or if they're physically going to come to you with these events. If they can come with you to these events, it's really important because those are the folks that are going to be able to help you in the early stages of your recovery. So holidays are a really great time, but they also can be a really stressful time. And so we want people to be safe. We want them to be sober. We want them to stay in recovery. And so these are some tips to think about. And if you are not sure whether or not you're one of those people that needs to get into treatment now, we want you to give us a call at 866-316-5113. That's 866-316-5113. Or check us out online. Visit us at lakeviewhealth.com. We've got an absolutely amazing website with great information. We have the intervention guide. We have tips for the holidays. We have a great campaign running called Giving the Gift of Recovery. Wrap that up in a bow and bring yourself into treatment, and we'll be able to take care of you.
There you go. Once again, that's Gina Thorne with Lakeview Health. And if you have any questions at all, go to the website, lakeviewhealth.com. All that information, too, including the toll-free number, will be available on our Facebook page here in just a couple of minutes. Gina Thorne, thank you very much for stopping by, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon, okay?
Thank you so much, Kevin.